For those of us who could work from home, this past year has had us navigating Zoom calls or team calls, figuring out standing desks, maybe trying to find a place in your home where you can work quietly, taking calls in the driveway. We do that. It's also had a lot of people at this 1 year marker looking forward to what work is going to actually look like. So, to take a look at the future of work as we head into it is Linda Nazareth. She's joining us. She hosts the podcast, The Work and the Future. So, welcome, Linda. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
First of all, perhaps the most obvious impact of COVID-19 on the labor force was the increase in employees working remotely. I mean, a year and a day ago, a lot of companies were thinking this just wasn't even possible. Can employees expect reasonably to be able to continue working from home if that's what they choose?
Well, there's lots of parts to that question. First of all, I don't even say employees, I say workers, because I think we're going to be looking at a really hybrid workforce. Some people who are on contracts, some people who are gig workers, part-timers, and we're kind of figuring out strategic plans that integrate all of them. And some of that will be working remotely from home or from airports or cafes or whatever else. And we're going to have to figure out how to manage all that. Because at the end of the day, it costs less money to not have to have everybody in one place. Maybe you have them together some of the time, maybe you don't. And I think that will be a consideration for a long time. So the old model of everybody in the office all at the same time, I think maybe we have to give that up a little bit and figure out how to keep the good parts of that.
People who are curious about what their work future could look like have been reading these reports that show the pandemic recession is only accelerating this rise in automation, which we've seen coming down the roads, but most people predicted it at least a decade away. And for a lot of jobs and companies, it's here now. How will that impact the way we work in the next couple of years?
I think it's mostly a positive thing, but not positive for everybody all at once. We're going to be talking about technology accelerating over the next few years. And yes, in some industries, it's going more quickly because of the pandemic. If you look at groceries, for example, it really would have been safer if some of those workers were not on the front lines. If you look at transit, particularly in New York, there were drivers who died because they had to be on the front lines. So we have to use technology in ways that protects people. And we have to figure out how to deal with the fact that some of our job functions are going to be done with technology. I mean, we're set up to work from our homes in lots of cases. That means we're not using the same numbers of people as lighting directors and audio technicians, everything else, and we're okay with that. So we're going to be moving into a future where people's jobs are rethought, people's work is rethought, and I'd like to see retraining and reskilling in some cases. I'd like to see individuals rethinking their futures, and I'd like to see companies really stepping up and figuring out how to make it all work.
Linda, this is an ongoing conversation. I know we're going to check back with you again in the future as we take a look at what work life could look like as we even look towards fall. Great to meet you and talk to you today. Thanks so much.
Great to be here, Anne-Marie. And the podcast is called Work and the Future.
Work and the Future. Make sure you check it out. Linda, thanks so much.